Hey home, here's the summary of my yesterday's work. So I cleaned up a little bit more this datdot.ui main issue. So I split it between components, where we have the main component dat.app with subcomponents, which are basically issues. So screen, plan, plan, user, work, apps, and the navigation that is present on every screen. If we click any of the components of the issues, we get a list of subcomponents. And we have a section for phases, basically design phase and implementation phase. Testing phase is missing. And currently, I just know what are the subcomponents, but these are the issues to subcomponent, which also has these phases. So implementation, design, testing. So I have to now figure out how to put these subcomponents in these phases. So I will check again the feedback that I got from Sarapath on this and try to figure out what would be the best way to structure the components themselves, so that we can easily see what are the dependencies of each component, and also what phase are we in for each component, and also what phase are subcomponents in. So I have to figure this out. So for all of these main components, we now have um, the subcomponents listed. And I also fixed the broken images here. So we have all these previews working. And if we click further to a certain subcomponent, such as, for example, navigation, we now don't have any subcomponents listed yet. So I have to go through the list of all components that exist. I have them here under specification wireframes next to the actual wireframes like visual. I also have the list of all of them so that I can then see how to structure them and make them, like, build the whole dependency tree. So we have components, we have a style guide section, so everything regarding style guide, and we have this specification wireframe section where one thing is missing. So we have a list. It's not completely finished, but so that's why I didn't mark it yet. But we have a list and we have specifications. So we also have to we have this kind of screenshots to make red circles with numbers around visual elements. Basically, on the wireframes, we have to mark what is which component. So, for example, how do we call this? Is this a menu bar or is it navigation? I have to check exactly what did Fiona call it. Action bar. These are like steps. So to kind of like mark and do the screenshot so that we know what component we are talking about in the wireframes, I guess. So this is this. So now I think what I will do is to reread again the Sarapath's suggestion on how to structure each issue, and then try to basically structure each issue like that. So the main ones and the sub ones. So the plan with the sub components, and then each sub component further on. Like button currently doesn't list any sub component, but I think that in the repo I noticed that there is, for example, an icon that we use as a subcomponent. So we have to somehow mark this accordingly on the issue itself. So yeah, I'll be working on this today and send the update tomorrow.